So this first pair is my Grishko 2007s. I wore them for a long time, but I didn't realize they were really terrible for my feet. So as you can see, I barely get over the box, and yeah, they were not a good shoe for me. They're still really, really hard, and it's been years. I wore these in high school. So they look very pretty, but they just did not work for me. Unlike everybody else, these just weren't a good model for my feet. So the people at the local dance store had a thing for Grishkos. They've always tried to fit me in Grishko, and I finally told them just don't try anymore. These were the Grishko 2007 Pro Flex. I hated that Pro Flex thing. Like, they're not comfortable. They're still really hard, and they still didn't fit me any better. And I kind of felt like the plastic thing kind of like hurt my feet even more, the like plastic shank. So yeah, these didn't work. So these are the Block European Balance. Now that I'm putting them back on, I'm like, they actually kind of fit really, really well. But I do feel like I'm knuckling in them, which has always been kind of my problem with these shoes. So, I mean, that's generally my problem in a lot of shoes, but I really like how they look. I may give them another try because they're not completely dead. They're pretty worn down, but they are not completely dead, so I could always give them another try now. I do really like blocks. Block, Capezio, and Russian Point are my favorite shoes. So yeah, they do give me that knuckling look, but they really are very comfortable and very stable for me. So who knows, maybe we'll give them a try again. So these are the Block Stretch Point, like the split sole, and these are the shoes that everybody keeps telling me, oh, you should try these if you don't have good arches. I'm like, no, I have tried them. They're awful for me. I am not stable in these shoes. I feel like I'm twisting and knuckling, and they're not a good fit. Like, I'm holding onto a bar right now, and I can kind of stand in them, but they're awful. Like, I have never been able to wear these shoes. That's why they only have the elastic sewn, because they were just so unstable. But they felt good in the store when I tried them on, and then just trying them at home, I was just like, these are just not going to work. So it is what it is, but I tried them. So these were my first ever pair of gainers. I got them at the local shop when I lived in Greenville, North Carolina. I had never tried them before. I didn't know much about them, and these were like the first shoe that I was like, oh my gosh, I can get over the box. And my feet, like, that was when I first started back, so my feet were not good then. My main problem with them though is that being a 4-box, they are so wide that I sink in them. Like, I love having the stability of the 4 because the 3 is just too tapered, but the 4s I sink in no matter what I put box liners in, I put everything in, I put wide toe, thick toe pads, which I hate wearing. It just doesn't work. Like, I love them, and I really, like, these are almost dead for gainers because I wore these so much and I loved them so much, but they just didn't work as well. So these are my Russian Point Encores. These are one of my absolute favorite pairs of shoes. These are almost dead, but I love them. They have such a pretty line on my feet, and they don't hurt my toes, and I can get over the box. I do have to do a lot to them, like I 3/4 them and everything, which I do with most of my shoes anyway, but these are one of the best pairs I've ever worn, these and the Rubens. These are just easier to 3/4, that's why I switched to the Encores, even though they are a little more tapered than the Rubens, but they fit my feet so well, and they're so much more comfortable, with the exception of the like heel part always digging in. So I've had to like make adjustments to my shoes because of that, and that's a lot of times why I actually sew my elastic on the outside, is because the heels hurt so badly. So yeah. So these are my Russian Point Rubens. The other favorite pair, these are a V-cut, because I do like ordering. That's one thing I love about Russians, is you can really customize them. Like, I order a low vamp on all of them. And like, these just, they're so beautiful on the feet. They just have such a pretty line. The color is gorgeous, and like, weirdly, Russians have a really good smell to them. I don't know what it is, but they just do. And if you wear them, you know what I'm talking about. But I love Russian Point. Like, they are some of the most gorgeous and well-made shoes I've ever worn. And like, yeah, these are almost dying, but I probably have like 6 or 7 pairs of Russians, and like, these and the ones I just put on are like my most dead pair, but I just won't give them up because I love them so much, and they just look so nice. Yeah, I just love them. So these are the sculpted fit gainers in a cappuccino color in a 4-box. Again, like, the 4 I'm just still sinking too much into, so these were actually kind of painful just to put on right now. But since they're custom made, you can't do anything about that. So, but they're such a pretty shoe, and I love, like I said, I love the stability of the 4-box. It's just, it hurts too much because I'm sinking in them. So I even had a custom made pair that I'm not going to try on that's super, super tapered, and those didn't work either. So gainers are a hard mix to find just the right one for. So these are the Cephalic Spotlight. Ironically, these are the ones that everybody keeps telling me look so amazing on my feet. I don't see it compared to the other ones that I really like, because these hurt so bad that I feel like I'm barely getting over the box. And like, I've 3/4'd them. I have softened these with the rubbing alcohol with water. Like, I have tried so much, and they're still hard, and they just hurt. Like, they're not comfortable, so I can't wear them. They're a pretty shoe, but they're not comfortable. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't wear them. So these gorgeous but weird shoes are the Chacot Cinderellas. So uncomfortable, I didn't even bother like fully putting them on. I can't soften these shoes to save my life. They look very, very nice, but they are hard as a rock no matter what I've done to them. And so I've never been able to really wear them. And again, they're really hard to find, so not practical. So next is 4 different types of Freeds that I've tried. These are the Studio 2s. I wanted Freeds to work for me because a lot of people wear them, and they're a gorgeous shoe. They look so good. But unfortunately, something about how they're made, I can't get over the box very well in them. So the practicality of wearing them, I can't really dance in them well. I've tried 4 different types, and I've had to lower the vamp on all of them, because even with the custom lowered vamp, they still were too high. And then I think they're a gorgeous shoe, and I wanted them to work for me, but I just couldn't make it work because they just are so uncomfortable. They're so hard, and I can't really get over the box super well, so I'm not confident in dancing in them. So these are just the Classic Pros. I think these were the ones that worked the best for me out of all of them. I've darned this pair and the next 2 pairs, but they still just were really hard for me to get over. Something about the angle of the box and everything, because I don't really quite understand how Freed angles theirs, even though I've asked them a couple times, I still don't really get it. But so these, they weren't awful. They're clearly very like soft in like the demi-point area, but the box was still too hard. Okay, clearly I'm getting a little lazier in this video. I don't even feel like trying these on, but these say Fort Flex and Wing. Want to say these are classic of some sort. I ordered them off eBay. They were someone's they were selling that were my size, just to try a different style, a lot cheaper. And I still had to modify the vamp, had to darn them. I still can't really get over these shoes as well either. So as you can see, they didn't really work. Like I said, like none of these Freeds have really worked for me. They are such a pretty shoe, but I just can't make them work for me. So, and sorry about the really bad lighting. It started getting dark while I was doing this, and I have a really dark apartment, so yeah, I can't really help that. My little teeny tiny dance space is all I really have there at the moment. So these were a custom ordered pair of Freeds. I finally said, you know what, I'm going to custom order a pair because they weren't more expensive than the regular pairs, and just see if that worked. They are the Classic, I want to say Classic Pros, but I actually don't know for sure. But they are Crown Maker, which I've worn before and I liked, but they just, again, like even with these probably felt the best out of all of them, and I'm still having trouble getting over the box. So these gorgeous shoes are a custom pair of Grishko Novas that I just really wanted a purple pair, but I don't like the Nova. I really, really don't like the plastic shank. It feels awful, and I can't get over the box well in it, which I know is a common theme for my shoes, but these were even worse. They hurt. The vamp is way too high. They're fun for taking pictures in, but they are not practical to ever dance in this type of shoe. Maybe there's a Grishko out there for me, but so far I just have not been able to find one that works for my feet. So these were a no-go, but pretty. So I also wanted a pair of red shoes. This time I tried a different Grishko. This is the Grishko Triumph, which actually was not a terrible fit, but they're super big on me. Like, I don't know why, but they just are, because they're the same size of every other Grishko I've ever worn. But I feel like I'm sinking in these, and I had to wear super thick toe pads, which I hate doing. They also have a really, really high vamp, as you can see. So they're not uncomfortable, but I don't think I would ever want to wear these as an actual shoe. I didn't take a video with my red gainers that I have now, but they fit much better. So the red gainers I mentioned are these exact shoes in red. These are gainers with a 3 box in the classic fit, I believe. These are probably the best fit I've found in gainers, where I can wear my normal toe pads and still feel good about them. But they're still a little too tapered for me. I just wish they had a 3.5 box. That would make all the difference. These are the blue bag, which I think is the feather shank, because those are just easier for me. I do really like these shoes, but I still have some trouble when I'm dancing because they're so tapered, and I need a thicker, broader platform. But these do look really good, and the red ones look even better, so there's that. But yeah, so this has been the one gainer that's kind of really worked for me, especially as my feet have gotten stronger. So these are Block Axiom, which aren't terrible shoes, but they're just a little too long, so I feel like they're just slightly too big for me. I've not been able, I wore them to like 1 or 2 classes and they just didn't feel right. But they're still a very pretty shoe, and maybe at some point I'll give them another go, but I think I found other blocks that work better for me, so there's really no point other than just wearing these till they die, which they're nowhere near that. As you can see, a lot of my shoes aren't near dead. It's just that I have a hard time finding shoes, and as an adult, if I can keep trying different shoes to try them, I'm going to do that to find what's comfortable for my feet and what works for my feet, because I don't have great feet. That's not going to change. I'm not going to magically make an instep in my feet somehow. So this pair is one of the more unusual pairs of pointe shoes I've ever worn. These are Siberian Swans, which my local dance store now offers. They're just so bizarre looking. They're like a terry cloth kind of material. I don't even know how to explain it. These are the broads. They have 2 styles. One's tapered and one's not tapered. It's more broad. Obviously, these are the broad ones, as you can see, but I feel like they make my feet just look really weird. And I'm sinking in these just like I do in the 4 gainers. In the store, they felt great. I was like, yeah, I love these shoes. They just felt awesome. And then I took them home and I sewed them, and now they feel like not so great. So I don't know about these. I also just really don't like that fabric. It's weird. But that's not to say they may not be a great shoe for someone else. And I think they have a satin version somewhere. These next 4 pairs are oddball brands that I bought off eBay just to see. These are Foozies. I just wanted to see if any of these worked for me because I was recommended a bunch of these because they have lower vamps and such. I don't like these shoes. They're not comfortable. They're really like flat, which may be great if you have a lower profile, which I kind of have a medium profile, I guess. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't sew them, so that's why they're falling off my heels. But I don't think I'll ever be able to wear these. Luckily, they were really cheap off eBay, like the rest of these 3 pairs I'm about to show you afterwards. So I don't feel like it's anything lost. It's just a learning lesson that these don't work for me. These are the Sancha Etudes. Again, these don't work for me. They're too blocky. Like, I can barely get over the box in these. They're hard. I've already 3/4'd them. They were recommended to me by someone, but they're just not a realistic shoe. They don't work well for me. Again, I barely spent anything on them on eBay, so. These are Marlette number 2s. I actually really like these, but they're not practical because they're really hard to find. Again, these were off eBay, but they're a really soft, comfortable shoe. I feel like I can get over the box fairly well. They're a little wide for me, I feel like, but they're not a bad shoe. And I've heard a lot of people really, really like them, especially in Europe. I've heard they're very popular. So maybe someday I'll sew them and try them, but they're just not a practical shoe since they're hard to find. But again, not much money lost. They were off eBay. So, yeah. So my final one of the eBay shoes I bought is my favorite. These are the the Wear Moi La Pointes. I actually really like these. These are actually a really pretty shoe, as you can see on me. Like, I can get over the box really easily. They are tapered, so I don't know how that would work. But they fit my feet really, really well, like the silhouette and everything. But being that they're Wear Moi pointe shoes, those are really hard to find. So again, these would not be practical, as they're a hard shoe to find and get. But I think they're a gorgeous shoe, and I will probably sew them soon and actually try and use them and just see how they work in classes. But I have other shoes that work better. That's why I wouldn't say these are going to be ones I'm going to go ahead and use or anything. But they are very pretty. I like them a lot. Now, these are one of my favorites in a current pair. These are Block Heritage. I love these shoes so much. They are such a pretty shape on me. I think I love them because they fit me like my Russians do. So that's really nice. I love my Russians and these, and my Capezios the best. But these are just such a pretty shoe. They look so good on my feet. They're easy to get over the box. They're good for demi-pointe, all of that. Like, I feel like I can still balance them even though they're more tapered. So they've been a really great shoe for me. And I know a lot of people really like these shoes as well. I just happened to be like, hey, can I try the Block Heritage? And they were like, sure. And like, lo and behold, the shoe was like, wow, awesome. One of my other favorites right now are my Capezio Avas. So I was really shocked when they had me try on Capezios, and these actually like really fit because I wore Capezios originally when I first started pointe, and I hated them, but that was so long ago. But these are fantastic. They have a broad box. They do make me look a little bit like I'm knuckling. I feel like at times like they break a little low, but they work for my feet, and I think they still make my feet look really pretty. I can balance on these so easily, which to me is important that I'm like able to get on the shoe. As opposed to wearing something tapered and be sliding and falling off. Like, that's not good. So I really, really like these shoes. This is my second pair. So my final pair that I've tried recently, Block Jetstream. I was actually fit with these and then did not buy them, so I wanted to try them again. I really like them. They have a very broad platform, which is easy to balance on, turn on, all that. I haven't really used them much yet, but I really like them. They do, I know like some of the shoes give me kind of that knuckling look. Unfortunately, that is also just my feet. Like if you see, I have no instep. I don't have a lot of ankle motion, so even though I have an arch, that's what it looks like, is that my shoes break really low and everything. But I still think they're really good shoes for me. I like them. And the dance store thought that they looked good on me, so I'm kind of going with if they fit me in them and they think they look good, I can't like listen to everybody else's opinion too. I have to listen to the people who fit me in them and my teachers. But I like them. Yeah, they're a really, really good shoe. Hey guys, so I didn't film every pair of shoes. I have like 5 or 6 more pairs of Russians, a few more pairs of gainers, all of that I didn't feel was necessary to show you all, because that was a lot to try on. So, but yeah, so hopefully this is helpful. I've said this before, I'm an adult, I'm allowed to have this many pairs of shoes. There's no rule about that. So people that want to say that, I don't know what your problem is, because as an adult, that's one of the nice things is you can buy shoes. It's the same as like people who have an obsession with normal shoes. You can buy shoes, it's not illegal. If I need that many to try and decide which ones fit my feet, that's my own decision. That's no one else's. My teachers don't care, so I don't know why random teenagers on Instagram care. So, getting off my soapbox now, but it's no one's business but each person's if they want to spend their money on pointe shoes. And a lot of these I got really cheaply discounted or eBay, so it wasn't even that bad. Or I waited till they went on sale. So, you know, like, it is what it is, but I think it's helpful. I am very interested in, like, pointe shoes and, like, what works, how they're made, all of that. Like, I find it fascinating how they fit different people and stuff, and how someone could have completely different feet than me, so the shoes that don't work for me look amazing on them, and they look terrible on me. Like, I find that really fascinating. So that's part of the why I do this, because I find it really interesting. And you know what? At the end of a long, busy week, I need something that's a little more mindless like this to do, and just to relax, because ballet is how I relax and how I just forget about things that have stressed me out during the week. That's what I love about it. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks.